Thank you, guys. Well, I graduated from Georgia State University in 1986. So you guys have a lot of changes around here. You got a student center, you got music, you looks like you got good food in there. So a lot has happened since I left in 1986. 1983, just a few years before, I had taken 64 sleeping pills and tried to take my own life. I didn't want to live. I had no idea of the promise that was ahead of me of a life that was worth living. You see, I wanted to take back the night that started when I was 3 years old, because that's when my sexual abuse began. My stepfather sexually abused me continually for the next 14 years. It wasn't until I was 17 years old that I had had enough. It started with fondling, it progressed, it was full-blown rape at 8, and I was raped thousands of times. I stand before you sharing that because there's so many here in this audience, there's so many on this campus that are victims of child sexual abuse. There are so many that have been so victimized, so violated, and our society, I need to go this way, our society wants to package it into this nice little word, molestation. You see, if I back into your car and I dent your bumper, everybody can get a good picture of what a dented bumper looks like, can't they? Yeah. But you can't get a picture of what molestation looks like. And it's just not the girls, it's our boys that are victimized also. And that's a whole nother level of shame. And you think that women are silenced, men are even more silenced. So this is an issue whose time has come. I spent a whole lifetime, 20 some odd years, trying to find healing. So I am here tonight to not just share my story, but to share my victory. To let you guys know that you don't have to stay in that pain, that you've got to let yourself have a time to recover. You have got to let yourselves have time to grieve your childhood, whatever has happened to you. And you have got to take back your innocence. You see, guys, my generation has their head buried in the sand over this issue. It will be your generation that can make the changes, the massive changes that need to be made in our culture to stop child sexual abuse, to stop child sexual assault. You see, what happens to those little boys and those little girls that are sexually assaulted as children? They grow up angry. They grow up with lifestyles that are self-destructive. I grew up trying to numb my pain with drugs and alcohol. I grew up very resentful. I grew up very angry. I grew into womanhood not having the tools that I needed to go into a relationship. You see, if we can stop children being sexually abused, we can stop sexual assault as adults too, because hurting people hurt people. Not only do we have to address child sexual abuse, but we have to address the perpetrators in our society. We have to address the perversion in our society. We have to address the appetite for pornography in our society. You see, pornography is just not adults. Pornography is children. And the appetite for pornography, as more and more people become addicted to pornography, the appetite is for younger and younger and younger children. I held a little boy in Bulgaria last year. He was 7 years old. He had been gang raped by 15 boys, and it was put on the internet. This is the kind of perversion that our children are being subjected to. Do you think that little boy is going to have some anger issues? Do you think that little boy is going to want to act out when he grows up? Where's the help? Where's the compassion? So I stand before you saying that the little girl that I was, that grew up, violated, raped for years, is now a woman that has turned her rage into outrage. I am outraged at the Penn State scandal. And you guys should be outraged that the only talk that we saw in our media was about the reputations of some coaches. Where was the compassion for these victims? Where was the outrage that someone would walk by and see a 10-year-old being raped in a shower, sodomized, and walk on by? Where is the outrage? Am I the only one that is so disgusted over this? I am so excited to be on this college campus. I am so excited to tell you guys that you can make a difference by just you being here. How many are at Georgia State now? 30,000? How many? 20,000? 30,000. Come on. This is an interactive audience. 30,000 people, okay? There should be standing room only. People should be so outraged over the sexual assault. It is a human rights issue that we have to stand up to. It is an issue that is deteriorating our society. If you look at the major social ills that we're facing, you go to any jail, 97% of those incarcerated had been sexually abused as children. 80+% of those who are addicted to drugs and alcohol have been sexually abused as children. I think it's 85% of teen pregnancy, they've been sexually abused as children. 97% of those that are into prostitution have been sexually abused as children. Look at the impact that we could have on our world if we stood up and said, not on my watch, no more. I won't stand by and suspect a child is being sexually abused and not take a part in stopping it. So I have 3 challenges for every one of you here tonight, because we have to do this work together. I can't do it alone. And I'm so excited that there's so many organizations here that are addressing sexual assault and sexual abuse and sexual victimization. But I want you to look at it a little differently. I want us to look at stopping this from the bottom up and from the top down. When I say from the bottom up, we have got to take responsibility. You guys are now adults, so we have to take responsibility for protecting our children. We have to take responsibility for predicting and preventing child sexual abuse. Everybody has a child in their life. Everybody has a niece. Everybody has a nephew. Everybody has a godson or a goddaughter. Everybody has a neighbor. We have to say, I am going to be vigilant about protecting my child or children. I'm going to take responsibility. So my first challenge is for you to voice up. We have to voice up on this issue. We have to, if we suspect, that's my second challenge, is we have to have the courage to report. If it's a friend, if it's a family member, it does not matter. If you suspect, you must report. You do not have a choice. And I want you also to have the courage to break your own silence. You see, survivors cannot heal behind closed doors, and that's where our society wants a survivor to heal. They want them to nice and neatly go behind a counselor's office and spend that time to heal. But survivors of child sexual abuse, and really of any sexual assault, they don't need to carry that shame. They need to heal in community. So I want to challenge you to have the courage to be that friend, to be that person that says, I'm strong enough to hear your story. I want to hear your story. You know, you were a child and you didn't have any power. You didn't have any control. You don't own any of that shame. So I challenge you to not only break your own silence and come into a place of healing if you are a survivor of sexual abuse, but I want to challenge you to be that person that says, I'm here for you. To be that compassionate and that nurturing person. You see, so many people put their hands over their ears and they say, I can't hear that. I can't listen to that. All they're doing is heaping that shame back on that victim. Or they may say, that happened so long ago, you just need to get over that. You just need to forget about that. Well, I'm sorry, when you've been raped thousands of times, you don't just forget about it. You don't just get over it. So I want to challenge you to voice up on the issue. I want to challenge you to have courage when it's hard, to make that phone call. If you suspect that there is a child in danger, if you see something, ask that child, has anybody ever done anything to you that makes you feel uncomfortable? Help us, too, to help survivors heal. And that's number 3. Number 3 is I'm challenging you to join the voice movement tonight. Everybody's got a cell phone that can hear me. Pull out your cell phone. Come on, guys, get that cell phone out. You can, if it buzzes, you whip it out fast. See who's texted me, and text it on back. All you have to do is type in 90210 and Voice Today. 90210 is the number. Voice Today is the message. I want you to join the Voice movement because I want you to participate. We have to have a movement. We have everything under the sun has a movement. It's time we have a movement to stand up and to stop child sexual abuse. It's time that we take responsibility. It's time that we make people aware that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused by their 18th birthday, and that's just what's reported. Only 1 in 10 will ever tell. 70% of all sexual assault happens to a child. You're the generation. You are the generation that can say, not on my watch. Another child will not be assaulted on my watch. I'll march on Capitol. I'll march in the streets. I'll fight for mandated prevention training for any youth-serving organization. I'll fight for my college to have prevention programs to teach me how to be a better parent, to teach me how to predict and prevent child sexual abuse. I'll stand beside a survivor and I'll help them heal. I'll be that person. That's what this movement is about. It's about bringing this issue out of the closet, and it's about bringing it into the public arena. And if you're a survivor, do not let it be a shield of shame. Let it be a badge of honor, because you just survived something so horrific. And we want to see you not just be a victim. We don't even want to just see you be a survivor. We want to empower you to be a victor. But see, you can turn your rage over this into outrage. So I'm excited. We need an advocate on this campus to get the Voice movement started at Georgia State University. So I invite anyone to come to our table and to sign our form. And I just invite you that you should be so excited, because you can play a part in changing the world. You can play a part in helping the next generation of children grow up with their sexual boundaries intact. You can play a part in stopping the social ills that we're suffering and making this world a better place for all of us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.